Hello, fellow seekers. Welcome back to the Law of One Spiritual Advice Podcast. My name is Elle, and I return to you today to read some Law of One material and give you my interpretations on it. So, if maybe we can just start, I would ask you if you could maybe subscribe, like, share, leave me a comment, something like that. That always helps. And let's get into it. So, today's topics are going to be about practices or exercises to perform to produce an acceleration towards the law of one. Oh, that sounds so fancy. Well, basically, I suppose, how do you progress? How do you progress spiritually, physically, everything? Just, spiritual evolution. How do we move forward? So that is going to be it, and there are 4 exercises that Ra gives us. You may consider them exercises or just ways of looking at things, but they are very beneficial if you are to work these types of things into your seeking. So without further ado, let us begin. This is from session 10.14. This is the Law of One. You can find links to the material at theoneinfinitecreator.com, and I have links to the LL research material for free, where you get all this and download and read it for free. So 10.14. It begins with the questioner asking, for general development of the reader of this book, could you state some of the practices or exercise to perform to produce an acceleration toward the law of one? Ra, I am Ra. Exercise 1. This is the most nearly centered and usable within your illusion complex. The moment contains love. That is the lesson goal of this illusion or density. The exercise is to consciously seek that love in awareness and understanding distortions. The first attempt is the cornerstone. Upon this choosing rests the remainder of the life experience of an entity. The second seeking of love within the moment begins the addition. The third seeking powers the second, the fourth powering or doubling the third. As with previous type of empowerment, there will be some loss of power due to flaws within the seeking in the distortion of insincerity. However, the conscious statement of self to self of the desire to seek love is so central an act of will that, as before, the loss of power due to this friction is inconsequential. Exercise 2. The universe is one being. When a mind-body-spirit complex views another mind-body-spirit complex, see the creator. This is an helpful exercise. Exercise 3. Gaze within a mirror. See the creator. Exercise 4. Gaze at the creation which lies about the mind-body-spirit complex of each entity. See the creator. The foundation or prerequisite of these exercises is the predilection towards what may be called meditation, contemplation, or prayer. With this attitude, these exercises can be processed. Without it, the data will not sink down into the roots of the tree of mind, thus enabling and ennobling the body and touching the spirit. End of quote. Woo! So that is a really good one. We can definitely make these a little bit more simple and less long than Ra does. And let's just do that really quickly here. So exercise 1 would be the moment contains love. Exercise 2, the universe is one being. Everybody is one. We are one. Unity. Exercise 3, gaze within a mirror, see the creator. You are the creator. Yes, everyone and everything is the creator, and that includes you. So when you look at yourself, you need to treat yourself as the creator as well. Exercise 4, gaze at the creation which lies about the mind-body-spirit complex of each entity. See the creator. So the creation is also the creator. If I could maybe put all 4 steps into one, if you would like an easier one for your mind, everything is the creator. Every emotion, thought, physical thing, metaphysical thing, anything that is or isn't, anything in potential, in activation, it doesn't matter. All is the creator. The words that we use to speak and differentiate are words of separation, right? The only way we can speak is to break things down into separate things. I mean, the real truth is that everything and everyone and every being is the creator, and in that, it's not to say that we're necessarily all the same. The creator is also infinite, so there's an infinity within this unity, and that is the beauty of this experience that we inhabit, basically. So let's just sort of break these down into more detail, because obviously we can speak about each thing in a bit more detail. So exercise 1, They say the moment contains love. So this one obviously is exercise one, very important. It's what I have to remind myself and I think others of quite a lot, because we are human and we have our brains who like to think in the past and the future. And so, we're always looking back, thinking about what we've done or done wrong or done right. And we're always looking forward, trying to do the right things and trying to avoid the negative things. And there's that, right? But that is really confusing because you're just sort of pulling your mind in all places. So what would be the thing to do is to see that everything about you is love. Everything about you is the creator distorted in some fortune, in some way or another. And the creator is inherently love. So the moment contains love. Another thing is that we are in the third density. Third density is the density of choice, where you choose either service to self or service to others, but you choose that, it's hard to explain, but you choose that through love. You choose like either the love of self or the love of self plus other self. It sort of just depends on which path of the two paths you'd like to go down. The deal is that this third density, though, is exactly that. Everything, I've said before, we are a holographic projection of the one. It means that this is somewhat a simulation to a degree, which somewhat means that no matter what you do, where you look, what the environment has in front of you, there are lessons of love. It's almost inescapable. And I would just challenge you to think that if you ever look at something and you think this is not love, well, there's your challenge. You're wrong. So, you can give me all these buts, but everything is the creator. So it kind of doesn't matter what you tell me and how terrible or awful that seemingly thing sounds. I'm still going to recognize that at the base of its distortion, it is the creator distorted in some form. So the moment contains love, right? So we, instead of just being a victim of circumstance, we look at life and we say, what does this lesson offer me? What is the lesson here? What am I supposed to learn from this? Should I be more compassionate? Should I be more wise? Should I, it's usually some balance between compassion and wisdom. Seems to be this idea of, being aware of the love in every moment and how that lesson is going to apply to you. Because, the lesson is going to apply slightly different to each people. So I would just talk about here how they talk about that, the first attempt is the cornerstone, and upon choosing rests the remainder of the life experience. The second seeking of love within the moment begins the addition. The third seeking powers the second, the fourth doubling or powering the third. So you can see that there is something to do with repetition of your choice. So I guess the thing is that, we only ever live in the now. Right? There is a past and the future, but to what degree it exists, it's somewhat illusory, right? Like we only ever live right now. Your mind can peer in the future and the past, but the truth is we're always physically and somewhat mentally here in the moment right now. So with that means that if you're choosing service to others today, you're choosing to see the moment contains love today. You are making that choice in a moment in time. What I suppose determines your polarity, whether you're polarizing on the positive or negative path, is your ability to make that same choice in a repetitious manner over and over and over again. And I believe that that's where your power is, and I believe that's where your willpower is, and that's where, manifestation comes from. Like, you can't manifest without power. So, they state here too, you're not going to be perfect at this. So they say, as with the previous type of empowerment, there will be some loss of power due to flaws within the seeking in the distortion of insincerity. So basically just saying, you're going to be trying to seeking love within the moment, but you're human and you're not perfect and your focus kind of sucks. So you're going to be seeking it sometimes and other times you'll lose focus. But that's seemingly okay, it says here. You're going to lose some power due to that flaw. But they say the conscious statement of self to self, of the desire to seek love, is so central an act of will that, as before, the loss of power due to this friction is inconsequential. So you see how they're bringing up, willpower and your will, and how that's like a loss of power. So I believe I brought that up in the last podcast that we recorded, where we talk about focus and intention. And that's the idea here, is that there's always a slow build. Oh yeah, that was it. I was talking about in the last podcast, like gardening, and you have the tiny little plant and the seed. You planted that seed of let's say the intention in this case would be you're planting the seed of the intention to seek love in every moment. And so you're taking care of that plant, trying to seek love in every moment. But that plant takes a long time to pop out of the ground, and even then, once it pops out of the ground, it takes a long time to go from a little plant to a medium plant. But then all of a sudden, the plant, takes off. It has enough roots and leaf room where all of a sudden its growth becomes exponential. And to me, that's sort of what they're somewhat trying to state here. It's like, as you build and you build and you build on top of that initial choice, you're building power, you're building willpower. And with that, you are essentially polarizing towards, I would assume, service to others, in which case, yeah, you're accelerating towards the law of one on your path of spiritual evolution. Okay, so there was exercise 1. Exercise 2. The universe is one being. When a mind-body-spirit complex views another mind-body-spirit complex, see the creator. This is a helpful exercise. So I'm sure you're aware, but mind-body-spirit complex is just a fancy word for human. They just don't like to say human because it devalues us too much, right? We're just some human. No, you're a mind, you're a body, you're a spirit, complex. All three are complex. They're together make you this unique, infinite human being. So the universe is one being. So basically, well, when you look out at, I suppose this is not even your environment. The universe is one being. Well, you have to. I suppose this is more of a philosophy thing, where you're just trying to remember within every moment of when you're in exercise 1, seeking love within every moment, then it will be a lot easier to seek the love in every moment if you remember that the universe is one being. We are still just one seeming entity who has split itself through the illusion of separation into a bunch of individual entities. So, to serve anything in the creation or to serve others is to serve the self. They're the same thing. You'll only in your third density body seemingly get to feel that, the service to self aspect when you're servicing yourself. But later in the metaphysical, when you die, I'm sure you'll be fully aware that every time you served others, you were somewhat serving yourself, because that other being is you. Right, so exercise 3, gaze within a mirror, see the creator. Okay, so in the previous step, I suppose they're trying to say when you look at others, you see the creator. Well, you need to look at yourself in exercise 3 and see the creator as well. I suppose a bit of caution with that. People in their somewhat religious teachings are always told to be wary of people who see themselves as God, and I very much would agree with that. However, if I suppose the idea is rooted properly, it can be rooted in the truth that, yes, you are the creator, but so is everybody else. I think that's where the humbling comes in, is where, if you've seen in the movies where someone's like, oh, I am God, blah, 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 I'm so powerful, I will rule the world. Well, that person's seemingly operating under the illusion of separation, I would suggest, right? They think that they are God, and I don't know to what degree they believe that everybody else is God, or at least to what degree that they believe that they are worthy or, infinite worth. Because that's, to me, is part of it, right? If we're all the creator, well, you are of infinite worth. I don't know, it's hard to devalue yourself and others when you're noticing, when you see yourself and others as the creator. So some people sometimes find it easier to see other people as the creator, and then they're hard on themselves. And then some people, are the opposite, where they find it kind of easy to see themselves as the creator, and they have trouble seeing other selves as creator. So you kind of just have to figure out which one is easier for you, and then sort of challenge yourself to sort of go down, to view the opposite in as true, right? So if you're not able to see yourself as the creator, well, take time to do that. And I literally mean look in the mirror. It's pretty weird, actually. If you look in the mirror, look into your eyes. They say, like, within the eyes, you can't really judge anybody by looking at them. However, for some reason, if you look in the eyes, you do get a somewhat feeling of the true nature of the being is to look into the eyes. So look into your own eyes. You may be surprised what you see, but I know that a lot of people struggle with self-worth and feeling that you are a worthy infinite being, or maybe you don't even think infinite, so you're a worthy being. Well, you are infinitely worthy, let me tell you. So please, please remember that you are the creator. You need to love yourself just as much as you are willing to love other selves. And I'll even challenge you to think that, I've said this before, but can only be somewhat, can only somewhat be as kind to others and loving to others as you are capable of being kind to yourself. To what degree that you can somewhat fake it with others, well, I would suggest you're probably faking it if you don't really truly find that love for yourself. And now moving on to exercise 4. So they say exercise 4, gaze at the creation which lies about the mind-body-spirit complex of each entity, see the creator. So this is similar to the previous ones. They're just being very particular in mentioning all aspects of the creator. So, when you look out at the creation, see the creator. I suppose this would be nature, but really anything physical that you can see, feel, touch. This would be just a reminder to the mind that there is no separation. Everything is the creator. And if you look at those 4 steps, that's basically what it's trying to do. They're basically just trying to say, hey, look, your mind is really good at separating things, either separating what your lessons from life, right? The lessons of love, the moment contains love, either separating your idea as to the universe being one being. You look around, you think, no, we're all separate, right? That's what the mind likes to say. Exercise 3, the mind's going to probably tell you when you gaze within the mirror, see the creator. So, right, the mind likes to tell you, I'm a separate being. Obviously, I, right? Whenever you talk, you say I, you don't say we. So, right, the mind likes to go down that path. And then, exercise 4, they're saying, the creation. So, your mind likes to look at the creation and feel separate from it as well. So you are intimately connected to all of these aspects, right? Every single aspect is part of this unified experience. The mind is a trickster. It likes to think that, we are separate. And so you need to somewhat do these exercises to keep on track, right? Remember in exercise 1, they talk about making that choice over and over and over again. Well, I would suggest that if you somewhat do these exercises daily, you'll obviously be making that choice in a daily manner on a consistent basis, which is going to increase your willpower, which is going to essentially increase your power, and it's going to increase your polarization. And I don't like to go into all the benefits of increasing your power, because it's somewhat a service to self thing, but you can do a lot of healing with power. You can do a lot of intention setting. You can do a lot of serving with power. So it's I don't know, it's interesting to know that. Every choice you make is the same choice. It becomes powerful. The previous choice, empowers the second choice and the third and the fourth. And then just to sort of wrap up here, we'll just describe their very last paragraph here. So they say the foundation or prerequisite of these exercises is a predilection towards what may be called meditation, contemplation, or prayer. With this attitude, these exercises can be processed. Without it, the data will not sink down into the roots of the tree of mind, thus enabling and ennobling and touching the spirit. So I guess what they're trying to say here is basically we have short focus. We have the memory span of a child, of a small child. We don't have very good focus. We don't have very good sort of like times where we contemplate and really think about what happened during the day and let it really sink into the roots of the tree of the mind. And so that's what they're suggesting here. Whether you do meditation or contemplation or prayer, right? There is no wrong answer, but you got to do something which essentially recognizes somewhat that this whole metaphysical stuff is true. And, as you do that and you put your focus there, then what you'll be doing is you'll be digesting the lessons of love of the day, which case, you're going to be having those lessons sink down into the roots of the tree of the mind and creating the change that they were meaning to create, right? Like we talk about catalyst a lot. Well, what is catalyst scientifically? Catalyst is like you've given like a chemical to a reaction of some sort, which speeds up the reaction. It's essentially speeding up the process. So everything is catalyst in your life, right? The moment contains love. So as you can see that everything contains love, well, you're going to be accelerating on the path of your spiritual evolution. You're going to be essentially learning the lessons that you incarnated to learn. And with that, every choice that you make, and it tops on top of the previous one, you will just be going further and further down that path, and you'll see, right? Like, I suppose once you do start doing this on a more consistent basis, and you make that choice on a consistent basis, you'll notice the magic of life. You'll notice the unity of life, the connectivity of all the lessons, of your dreams, of synchronicities, of just all sorts of stuff just starts to harmonize. It's almost like before, when you were listening to the music, it was too chaotic and you couldn't make sense of all the instruments. There's just noise, right? But now you've sort of realized, hey, this is all love. It's lessons of love that I'm learning. I should see myself as the creator, see others as the creator, see the creation as creator, and know that the creator is love and infinity, and find that love within that moment. And that's basically the nature of the universe and the nature of this density that we find ourselves in. So I think, I hope you are doing well, and I hope you are nice to yourself and not too hard on yourself when it comes to these things too, because I said yesterday, to seek the ideal is to seek perfection. We do not necessarily seek perfection. We just seek progress. Any progress is progress, right? The intent is the attempt, is the intent, is what matters. It's the value is within your intent. As you seek to serve, as you seek to find the love in the moment, you're doing great, right? The physical illusion can operate as it will, but you are out there just trying to find the love in the moment. What more can you do? Well, that's about it. So thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you appreciate my service, with Instagram and this podcast, I would appreciate if you could maybe support me on theoneinfinitecreator.com. Just scroll down to the support section. And also, I mentioned you can read all this material for free. I got the same links on that same website where you can download this book and all that other stuff for free. And so thanks for listening, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and I should be back close to the end of the week with some more philosophizing. So take care, guys. Love you.